All right, let's talk about it. That one question type in the IELTS reading test that drives everyone crazy. The yes, no, not given question. Today, we're going to break it down and make it simple. Let's get into it. Yeah, if you've ever found yourself staring at a statement, then back at the text, then back at the statement, and just feeling completely lost, I know the feeling. It's designed to be tricky. But here's the thing you have to remember. You are so not alone in this. This is where so many students, even really good ones, lose points. But the great news is there's a system to beat it, and that's exactly what we're going to build today. So first things first, let's figure out why it's so hard. What's the actual trap? Once we know what we're up against, we can figure out how to solve it. Here's the core of it. Getting the yes answer is usually pretty straightforward, right? The text says it, the statement matches. The real battle, the real confusion, is always in the fight between no and not given. Is it saying the opposite, or is it saying nothing at all? And this, right here, this is the key. This is designed to be your big aha moment. Once you really, truly get this distinction, I promise, everything else just clicks into place. Okay, look at this. It's so important. For an answer to be no, you need to find evidence in the text that directly contradicts the statement. It actively proves it's false. But for not given, you're looking for, well, nothing. There is a complete absence of information. The text doesn't prove it's true, and it doesn't prove it's false. It's just a void. I absolutely love this analogy. You have to put on your detective hat. For a no, you found the piece of evidence that proves the suspect's alibi is a lie. For not given, that specific detail just isn't in the case file to begin with. You can't prove anything either way. So that's the mindset. Now, how do we turn that into a reliable process you can use every single time, especially when you're under pressure and the clock is ticking? We need a game plan. And here it is. This is your routine. It takes all the guesswork out of it. You underline your keywords, you scan the passage for those ideas. Remember, they love to use synonyms. And then you carefully compare the meaning. And step 6, that's a lifesaver. Don't waste minutes on one question. If you're stuck, mark it and come back later. Okay, enough theory. Let's actually put this game plan to the test and see how it works with a real example. We're going to look at a passage about something called urban beekeeping. All right, let's start with statement number 5. We're going to run it through our 6 steps right now. So, the statement is, all municipalities provide grants to urban beekeepers. Step 2, keywords. For me, the most important ones are all municipalities and provide grants. That word all is a huge clue. Okay, now we scan the text and we find this sentence. It says a number of councils offer grants, and then it says some actually restricts them. Now, step 5, we compare the meaning. And the answer has to be no. It's a classic contradiction. The statement says all, but the passage says a number of, which means some. That is the direct opposite. The text gives us clear, undeniable proof that the statement is false. See how that works? It's a system. Let's try another one, statement number 6. This time, let's see if we can spot a not given. Okay, the statement claims urban beekeeping equipment is inexpensive compared with rural equipment. Our keywords are definitely inexpensive and that all-important comparison with rural equipment. So we scan the text for those keywords or synonyms, and we find this part. The passage tells us the cost of urban equipment is a barrier, which suggests it's actually expensive, not inexpensive. But hold on, does it ever compare it to rural equipment? And there's our answer, not given. This is a perfect example. The text talks about the cost of urban equipment, sure, but that second half of our statement, the comparison to rural equipment, it's completely missing from the case file. There's no evidence, so we can't say if it's true or false. Okay, so you have the core strategy down. Now it's time to level up. To really get good at this, you have to start thinking like the person who writes the test. You have to learn to anticipate their traps. And these are the 3 big ones to watch for. First, the exact word trap. They will almost always use synonyms, so you have to scan for the idea, not just the exact word. Second, the over-inference trap. This one is huge. If the text doesn't say it directly, you can't just assume it. You have to stick only to what's written. And finally, the qualifier trap. This is about paying super close attention to those small words that have a huge impact.
And this slide shows the power of a qualifier perfectly. Just look, on the left, if the statement says some councils offer grants, that's a yes because it matches our passage. But on the right, just change that one word to all, and the entire answer flips to a no because it now contradicts the passage. These tiny words, all, some, never, often, usually, they are everything in these questions. So let's bring this all home. Here is one final, super fast mental checklist you can run through on test day when the clock is ticking and you need to make a quick, confident decision.
It's really this simple. Find the evidence. Ask yourself, does this explicitly support the statement? If so, the answer is yes. Does it explicitly contradict the statement? If so, the answer is no. And if you can't give a firm yes to either of those questions, the answer has to be not given. That's it. No more overthinking. And there you have it. You've got the definitions, you've got the step-by-step routine, and you know the common traps to avoid. You now have all the tools you need to turn one of the hardest parts of the IELTS into a place where you can score easy points. The only question left is, are you ready to go practice?